Right. Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 City of Rollingwood Utility Commission meeting. We will begin the meeting with roll call, starting to my left.
Chris Kirksey.
Clark Wilson.
Jonathan Miller.
Walter Rollison.
Elizabeth Bray.
Wonderful. Moving on to... I can hold off so you can join roll call. We were just doing roll call.
Oh, okay.
Have a seat. And if you will call...
Christopher Meekin.
Perfect. Moving on to public comments. No public comments. We will move on to the consent agenda. The first item will be approval for the December 3rd, 2025 Utility Commission meeting minutes, which were in the packet, which we reviewed.
I'll move approval. I'll second.
We have a motion to approve the minutes, seconded, all in favor? Aye, all opposed, all abstaining, motion passes. Moving on to the regular agenda. The first item is discussion and possible action to elect a chair of the Utility Commission.
Sorry, Jonathan, don't mean to put you on the spot here, but this is our annual item to elect a chair for the Utility Commission. I think you've done a great job, Jonathan, but if anyone else would like to step up to be the chair, feel free to.
Are you willing to return to the job?
If it is so warranted and if that's what y'all want, yeah, I'm happy to do it. But if someone else would like to, I'm also more than happy. Just
Happy to follow you.
yeah, just okay. So yes,
If it's not
if
broken.
nominated, I would
I
accept.
I
Is that-
nominate Jonathan.
Any
A second.
nomination?
I nominated our current chairman to be Jonathan to be the next chairman. And you seconded.
Seconded.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I will abstain. All opposed. Okay. Moving on. Update discussion and possible action regarding a policy for grinder pump maintenance and replacement. If you recall, this was an item that was referenced in the minutes. We provided some guidance to council, and I'm guessing this is the feedback.
Yes, that's right. So at the December 18th City Council meeting, we were given instruction to put a bill message for the January billing, just letting everyone know that City Council was considering imposing a $20 fee. And those bills went out, and throughout that time, I did receive some feedback from residents saying that they were opposed to that. Councilmember McDuffie, I'm not sure if you have any other feedback to add.
I also received feedback of that sort.
And so,
I imagine these were from folks who would have been directly impacted by not
Correct.
just a broad community. I don't think. we should-
that's correct. The bill message went to everyone who had a grinder pump, and
Gotcha.
those who did not receive a bill message.
And the total number is about 100 or so, is that right?
I'm sorry?
The number of
Grinder
pumps.
pumps is a little over 100.
Roughly about 120 or so, yes.
Was the message in the bill, or was it a separate message?
It was a insert, and I have the language here if anyone would like to see it.
So only people who had pumps got the notice.
Yes, sir.
So only people who got the pumps would know to
Contact City
hang
Council.
on.
Okay,
That's correct.
and then provide feedback.
And we did not have a meeting last month, so
That's right.
we didn't see the specific wording that was gonna go out beforehand. Can you just let us know what went out?
Yes. So this is just the language that was sent out. Dear resident, the Rollingwood City Council is evaluating the implementation of a $20 monthly fee per grinder pump to cover maintenance and service expenses. This fee would apply to only properties equipped with wastewater grinder pumps and aims to ensure their proper upkeep and functionality. We value your input and encourage you to join the upcoming discussion on this proposal to learn more and share your feedback. For additional information, please contact City Hall at our number or reach out, and the number is there, I just didn't say it, or reach out to your City Council members. Thank you.
And which discussion were they directed to?
I'm sorry?
And which discussion were they directed to? said we invite you to,
Just reach out.
Just
Oh,
to reach
just
out
reach
to
out.
give your feedback of the proposed amount.
Yeah. So what are the next steps now? Is there like a subsequent city council meeting where you're discussing it? Yeah.
So Phil McDuffie, council member. So we did receive the letters. Most of the letters, I would say, were kind of putting a historical perspective on when we converted over to the sewer and how grinder pumps were installed and why they were installed and the lack of choice that a lot of people had as far as putting them in or not putting them in, that type of thing. So that was very useful, I think, to the council. I don't know how the council's viewing it, but I do think that it's so far been a lively discussion, and that's what really is necessary before we make any kind of decision like that. And so that's where we're at. I'm assuming it probably will be brought up at the next city council meeting. Whether action will be taken or not, who knows? But before taking any action, of course, it's most important that we actually know the history, why, what happened, and the impact that it will be to those who have grinder pumps and those who don't have grinder pumps, so we can serve the community. So, yes.
I have one other question.
For me or Michaela?
I think Caleb. Or it's a comment, it's not a question, so it can be for everybody. I think it might be useful to let people know that have a grinder pump and that, you know, may or may not be, if this fee is then assessed to move forward, to let them know what the maintenance, et cetera, is that is part of the service that they are now paying for. Many of them may have never had maintenance before, may have not needed it or not known that they could go to the city, etc.
Yeah.
So just to make sure that we have some transparency in people's understanding, it often helps people absorb potential change a little more easily.
Of course, yes, thank you.
What does council wish from us?
I think we were just reporting back, so we're still
Right,
considering,
we had provided the options of $20, $10, status quo, and there was
And
another,
the owner pays the whole thing.
and the owner pays all of it perhaps. So this was. the-
So I am abstaining because I have a pump. And Phil and I have had many conversations about this, and Phil has been wonderful about it. Thank you so very much. The information I wanted to know was what was told to residents about replacement when the pumps were installed 20 years ago. Were we told that this was part of a big system, like the drainage system, and everybody pays for it all? Because I'm paying for a new rainwater drainage system that doesn't impact me at all. And so other people, you know, we all pay for each other's stuff. We're
Yeah,
all in this
so-
together.
So we were here and signed on for to have our septic tank removed and the sewer line installed. We do not have a pump, but my understanding was that was part of the contract, was you pay a fixed fee and you're part of the system, and the grinder pumps would be maintained as part of the system and not by individual homeowners.
And I had a grinder pump. I moved in here 20 years ago, and I didn't know I had one. And then it failed within a year or two because I probably had a bad pump. And when it got replaced, I said, "Oh," you know, and they said, "Oh, the city's going to take care of it." So we were told the city was going to take care of it. How many pumps are out there, and what percentage of the total homes? 120. How many pumps have failed? Do we know that, and why? Why do pumps usually fail, and what causes it? I assume it's stuff that people put in there that they shouldn't.
That's correct.
And so I don't
Sometimes,
feel
yes.
good about being into a risk pool of people that have a house full of 6 people that don't care what goes down the toilet when it's just 2 of us, and we care and we take care of it. So I'm of a mind of either city pays for it or the homeowner pays for it, because I don't want to be put in that risk pool with people that just don't care. So why do some homes have a higher failure rate? What is the current and projected replacement cost of each failure pumps? What is the warranty on the new pumps? who pays for pumps in new construction, and how is the monthly fee, $20 fee calculated? So I will abstain, but I would like this information to go to the decision makers, because I think it's important.
Okay, we can definitely follow up on, because that was from a previous meeting, that document that you're reading with the questions, is that right?
No, I sent it to council.
Oh, okay, well,
Because you said, hey, send it to council, so I sent it to council.
okay, well, we're happy to continue following up on those questions to try to get some answers for you.
I have an additional question. Several years post the sewer installation, but pre where we are now, if somebody wanted to have a second connection to the sewer from their home, they were told no, that was a sort of $3,500 fee to have a second connection put on their home at the time. And so some people elected to have a grinder pump installed, which was quite a lot less, and push things to whatever part of the property it needed to go to for the sewer connection. There was no verbiage, and because it wasn't a thought, of, you know, at some point in the future, you're now gonna pay for having made that decision on a monthly basis. That may be an issue. Because they would have preferred to have had a sewer hookup to start with. They just were prohibitively priced out of it.
Okay.
And are these pumps at like 2% of the sewer, total sewer, or are these pumps 30% of the total sewer? You know, be nice to know.
Sure,
Talking
absolutely.
about the budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had those figures a couple of meetings ago, I think. or-
That's right, yes,
Mhm.
we did bring those to you guys. Is that something that you would want back in the
I
future?
was trying to recall when we were thinking of the amounts, was it, $10 was supplementing the cost and $20 was covering the cost? Is that how we thought about it, right? So either you can say you're sharing responsibility with the city, or you are covering the full budget for it. I think that's how we thought about it. But I mean, these are all things that obviously are, one, need to be taken into consideration by council, and two, by the residents, certainly by those who are impacted by it. I think the point is that council came back with 20 probably to see what the reaction would be.
Lots of good comments.
Appreciate it. Any other commentary on the grinder pump discussion? All right, thank you. Moving on to the next item, which is discussion and possible action regarding updates to the utility bill appeals policy.
Okay, so at the September 3rd meeting, we were directed to revisit this item in 6 months to allow people to enroll in the Ion Water Customer Portal. As of today, there are 180 residents out of 600 that are signed up for the Ion Water Customer Portal. And to share a few stats with you, since September, city staff has received 12 leak adjustment requests, and a total of $8,358 has been credited to those residents, depending on what their leak adjustment credit came out to be. And let's see here. And 5 out of 12 of those residents who requested a leak adjustment since September were signed up for the Ion Water Customer Portal, and 7 out of 12 of those residents who requested a leak adjustment since September were signed up for the leak alerts. That's just a little bit of information. We're happy to go whatever direction you guys are wishing to, but those are just the updates since September.
So the disputes are not that the meter was bad anymore.
That's correct.
Yeah, so what is, and not that we need specifics, but right, before it was, it was either read wrong or the meter's broken, right? I couldn't
That's right.
possibly have used
Air
that
in the
much,
pit system or whatever.
right, couldn't possibly have used that much water. So that no longer seems to be the case. Are these actual leaks, pool issues, broken
Toilets.
fixtures,
Mhm.
toilets running? And I know it's a lot to ask for specifics, but any general change?
Correct. A lot of them is the swimming pool is overfilling, the irrigation.
So there's been documented issues that have then, because we require that they're documented to have been fixed, and then there's no longer a leak.
Correct.
Cor-
But now since they're on the ion water, a lot of them are not. They register for the ion water, but they don't set leak alerts. So, I wish, I don't know how else to do it. When I always check the beacon every day. I come in every morning and I check it to see where I am. Right now, I'm at 71 residents that do have water leaks. The higher usage that I see constant, I'll send them an email.
Is that over a gallon? What's the threshold that you're setting? Because if
Yeah.
I get
It all
really,
depends. Yeah, it all depends.
if I get
on
down to a half a gallon a minute or whatever the number is, it'll say I'm on it all the
So,
time.
so you have the
Correct.
ability to look at all the meters and find out which ones show leaks?
Correct, yeah.
Well, that's great.
And so, and so then I'll send them an email stating that, I've noticed high water usage than normal. And, we are in water restriction stage 2. And then I'll send them the link to register for the ion water and also a YouTube video, to help them, but sometimes
How has the response been to those?
it's, for the most part, they're happy.
Okay.
They're happy. I had one lady call me today to help her out, and I walked her through it, and she was happy. She says, I saw my neighbor looking at hers, and you can see all this information. I said, exactly. So,
And you're able to reach out to all 71?
the higher ones, yes, I'll send them an email.
You can get all
Yeah, I'll try to, yeah.
But only the ones on the wireless, not
And
the
the-
standard ones that where you still have to read them.
I'm sorry?
But the standard ones are all gone, so we don't have to read them.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, but Jonathan, to your point, because I was kind of wondering, is when I first joined the utility commission, like those first few meetings, we had people coming in and the back and forth was pretty intense, and we haven't seen any of that recently. And I was like, what happened to all the leaks and like the water adjustments?
Yeah.
And it seemed, I was wondering if this is where you were going with your question. Is the real-time reporting just causing people to like own the outcome more? And like they're not coming to us and trying to like get some super large adjustment? Like what's happening? Like is you were kind of speaking to like, I know you want them on the app, you want everyone using the app,
Right.
but we're still not getting these escalations and these appeals.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
So why is that, do you think? It's just because you're reaching out to them and they're getting the
First
feedback?
and foremost, because you can see real time.
It's a lot harder to
Yeah.
argue.
Correct.
Yeah. It's not 3 months later that they're like,
It's not just one read.
Yes,
And
it's
it's
down
up
to
to
the
read.
minute.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can really see, 3 in the morning, it's still flowing.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's right. It's right.
Again.
It shows every hour you've got water going.
Right.
Every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It'll show you to the minute.
Got it.
On the
So it
portal.
makes it harder to say it's a meter issue when it's persistent, right? That makes sense.
Correct.
Yeah, perhaps.
I still hear it's a meter issue because people don't know how to read the meters. It's not like the old ones that they had the numbers on top, but you can still read them.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
I think we just have to figure out, the gremlins in the app that there always are. We were just discussing an issue.
Yeah.
I had a leak last week where the irrigation guy came and neglected to turn off the backfill after he had flushed the system. I was away from the house. He did that at about 2 in the afternoon, maybe 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I got my first notification at 6:30 that there was a leak. And it showed in the notification, you've sent 400 and some odd gallons through it. They were able to come out a couple of hours later and turn it off and do all the things. And Ion Water tells me now that I only had 59 gallons leaking. Where it showed me in the moment, which I screenshotted, that it was 400 and some odd gallons. And the gallons went through, but it's only saying that 59 of them were leaking, which is very strange. And I have mine set on to over 1 gallon, per
Yeah.
minute. Gives me and then 2 days later, there was another issue and never got an alert. Never got an alert.
See, that's where I have to see what was the difference between the consumption, per hour.
It was dramatically higher on the second leak,
Yeah,
like ridiculously dramatically higher.
so, yeah, I'll have to call and ask to see what was the difference on those
And why the
two
alerts aren't
waters.
coming,
Correct. Why
You
is
know?
it taking so long for you to receive those alerts?
right? Or if you don't receive them at
it
all,
could
like the whole
be-
benefit of this is getting those alerts.
Correct. But it could be also that, maybe you were just watering for a long time, period of time, and it waits to a certain time to send you, to say that it is considered as a water leak.
Yeah, it needs multiple hours of consistent.
Correct,
flow.
yes.
Right, the problem was, it was a pool situation and it went on for like 27 hours.
Yeah, you should probably check that.
Then that's a lot,
And I
yes,
never got a leak,
yeah.
never knew.
But
It was
the-
by accident that I
So I'll
found it.
have to check and see
Yeah.
what was the difference between both, if it was running at the same time that she had the first water
Yeah,
leak, and that's
yeah.
why.
Yeah.
But the issue here is whether or not we want to further restrict the ability to appeal, because now we have access to the real-time data versus really changing the policy to be more accommodating. Is that right? It already was built for the
Right, no, my only
archaic-
thing was if we are using this as our evidentiary system,
I think we're
then
still
we
waiting.
need,
I
that
don't
we
think
need
there's any change. Well,
we
I
need
should
to make
say,
sure
it's open
that
for
it is
discussion, but I
not,
don't-
our, you know, there's no loop in it anywhere to be taken advantage of.
Correct.
I'm on your team. I think it's way too early to start.
Yeah, I think that the policy, it sounds like it's working the way we intended, not the policy, but changing to the digital meters, which has, for the most part, weeded out some of the requests that were difficult to prove one way or the other. And some of the issues with people saying that the meters were wrong. There will still be some of that we can anticipate, but I don't necessarily think we have sufficient empirical data or anecdotal information to say it's time to go and really make changes to this policy, which we had just changed.
What
Like-
month was what month was the month where all we
Go
reached
live?
100%?
I'm sorry?
When did we reach 100% on like the full rollout? Of the
Oh,
electronic
June,
meters?
June of last
It
year.
was June. Wow.
Yes,
okay.
so all of the
Great.
meters were installed by the end of June last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of the things that might be changed if it was allowing up to 6 months after the bill and so forth. I mean, there's enough immediate information that you might reduce that. Is there a chance that you have or do you have, as people on the ground, have a chance or thoughts about how you might modify what we have?
I mean, I think possibly setting, so, you know, with respect to Elizabeth's concerns, you know, we do have this customer portal to allow people to read their usage in real time and to set up leak adjustments, cater to, you know, their usage and what they prefer. I think it might be best to possibly just have, or better parameters in place to possibly lessen the amount of time that is looked back on, or making the 3-month period smaller. It really is up to you guys, but that's just, you know, perspective from staff. But of course, we're happy to do whatever the utility commission.
Okay. So when you look at your leak report every morning, and is it possible
terrible to
also that there are some other parameters you could set in the software, like sudden change in somebody's bill would send you or be identified to you? I mean, I don't know. You're working with the Ion Water control software,
Right, the beacon, yeah.
and are there other choices or parameters in that software that could alert you, for example, to say a change from last month or a change?
It does show me that
Okay.
for each account, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Does it show you
And I believe
on like a
it-
daily basis, even if there's not a leak detected, if somebody runs at, 5 gallons a day and all of a sudden they're 300 gallons
I wanna
in the
say
last
that
24
it-
hours, will
yeah.
it give you that?
I wouldn't,
If it
no,
doesn't
in
call
the-
it a leak?
It might be the last 24 hours, it will be, but I do believe that you can see from your last June, last year of June, and this year of June. It will have that history. On the
No,
customer
I
portal.
meant if you're not getting a leak alert, cause you're looking at your leaks every day.
I look at whoever has a water leak, yes.
Right, but if somebody has a leak, but it isn't showing as a leak on Ion Water, cause
Well, is it excess consumption
Right, it could be
alert you
filling
to
a
a?
pool.
will it
But
show
it's just
that?
an increase in
And
consumption
like
would-
That's all you're showing is more
somebody who's
water.
consuming just
Yeah, it's not a.
exponential amounts more than they normally do, which would cause you to say,
Correct.
have you just filled a pool? Have you just built a pool? Or have
Yeah.
you,
I
what
looked
have you
at-
done?
yes.
Do you get that if
Yes.
it's not reported as a leak?
No, I have not received that, because even the smallest, continuous, like during the freeze, a lot of people, they tend to leave their water running. So it will show me that for 2 days, it was running for, 2.9 gallons or 6.5 gallons. Normally, when I see 6.5 gallons, I take that into consideration that maybe it's a toilet that's running. Cause that's a low flow toilet, and that's usually the water usage that it uses. But I'll see that, so I'll monitor it for the next month and see if it's continuing. Bless you. So,
I wish there was some way where we could force everyone to use the app.
I'm with you.
Like-
Well,
like-
the
like-
appeals process could be saying, look, if
True, but-
appeals after, you know,
For
June
those
of
not
twenty
using the app.
twenty-six, you know, if you're not on the app and we don't show you downloading the app, you can't make an
Or
appeal.
like
I
if
mean,
we had like if it was like an online payment, you would like force a screen where it's like, oh, you're not registered in the app yet. Like you need to finish this registration step to complete your account before you can pay your bill or something. Like there was like some way. I don't know if there's like any tie-ins where we can do that. Right? Because like people, they can mail in checks. Is that right? So like there's no way to force.
Can we
Yeah.
give them a $5 credit on their bill if they sign up for the app like everyone else gives you when you sign up for their app?
That's right.
We
Yeah.
c- if
Referral fee.
If it was something that you guys did want to do, on our leak adjustment form, we have a little checkbox that says, proof of repair attached. I mean, we could put like, are you signed up in Ion Water or something like that, and I'm not sure, just an idea.
I like that. I like
That's
that
a great
lot.
idea.
That's
That's a good
That's
idea.
a really good idea. Yeah.
But,
great idea.
and I'm
Then
not
we
sure
did-
if you are not, I'm not sure what you think that the quote-unquote consequence would be of not checking that box for a leak adjustment, but that's definitely something that we can add to the leak adjustment form
Yeah,
Maybe you
you
just have to
should.
be signed up for it to make a claim.
in order
Like we
to
won't
be
accept
considered.
the claim
Right, that's.
if you're not signed up.
Oh, yeah, well,
Well, because you could sign up right before.
definitely you won't process.
Yeah,
it,
but
right?
at least you're still signing up then.
Like,
Right, so we will say, we'll still look at your leak adjustment, but we won't let you come in until you fill out the form and sign up on the app.
Oh, fair enough.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So you don't have to have been
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it in
There
order to
you go.
complain.
No,
there you go.
You just can't
but we're not gonna
ask
look
for
at
an
the
adjustment
adjustment.
unless you're
My mistake.
confirmed to be signed
So
up.
Right.
we could add it and say something along the words of like, you know, are you signed up for Ion Water? Check. If you aren't, you know, side note. If you're not, you know, I'm trying to think of the right wording on the
luck.
spot, but
You could, no, you know what it is? You know what it is? It is a requirement of submitting an adjustment form that you have the Ion Water app installed. Should you not, here is the link. Please do so before submitting.
that's a great.
There's that, and you've got to set a leak alert as well. There's
Yes.
2 steps.
Right.
to it.
Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Right? You can't
That's right.
just sign
Because
up
the
for
leak
the
alert
app,
is pretty
doesn't
easy.
do
It's
anything.
not,
You actually
even
Yeah.
if you set it for the
go
wrong amount, at least
further
you're
and
signed
set
up.
a
That's true.
leak.
Yes.
Fine. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Two
I like
check
that.
marks.
I like that. That's
Yeah,
good.
just like you have to tick this box
Yeah.
to accept
Yeah.
before you're allowed to submit. Same.
Yeah, we should do that for everyone.
Sounds like
Yeah,
we need a
should-
motion.
should do that.
Sounds like a motion to me.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, okay, so I'll make a motion.
Who's gonna make the motion? Why are we?
We were able to make
I'm going for it. Okay,
Yes,
the motion
please.
is that it is required to submit for a leak adjustment that one is registered and signed up for Ion Water with a leak alert installed.
I'll
And
second.
just quick, can we confirm on your end that there's a leak, that the account has leak alerts on it? Or,
Yes, because there's a lot of residents that are registered on the Ion Water,
but they don't have a leak, okay, so we can see that data, okay, perfect.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll second the motion.
Yes.
Okay.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And no opposed and no abstaining, so
All right.
motion passes.
Okay.
Well done.
There you go. We're killing it.
One, I'll open it up before we close. If there's anyone that had any other commentary, I actually had a question or just a comment. Obviously, we just dealt with some stuff with AT&T. Maybe not everyone was impacted by it. Just curious, some of the discussions that I've seen floating around are there any consequences for a contractor when, and if that is the case, causes an issue like this, or certainly
Was
would-
that what happened in this case?
I don't want to speak to this, what rumors may not be flying around. The area I saw AT&T working on just coincidentally happened to be where there were 6 cement trucks parked on the side of the road the other day, but that's neither here nor there. But I don't know what was communicated to the city during that. Obviously, there was a lot of things floating around the apps about what was happening and what was timing, and no one had information. And while it was great to get the kids off their phones for a little bit, a lot of folks who had to do work, it was a little troubling. So was there any communication to the city about what had occurred and what the time frame was and who might have caused it? And I just was curious. I'm sure folks will be asking us.
So we did receive some reports yesterday. And Sasha Petrovic actually contacted Alan this morning and let him know that it was not Google Fiber that had cut the line. That's coming straight from him. He is our Google
What, somebody just
Fiber.
went in and cut it?
So,
I'm not sure if you can
Liaison.
trust the source denying.
What, somebody jumped in the ditch and cut it for fun? That's,
I mean,
We don't know.
that's-
I don't even know where it necessarily occurred, but
I did hear, we
Yeah.
did hear reports about that. We did get contact from our Google Fiber contact today. They let us know that it was not them,
Okay.
and so I am unsure as to who.
And did
did that?
AT&T talk to anyone here about what they were doing, that there was an issue, or is it just because someone called and said enough service, AT&T went out, but they didn't speak to the city? I was just curious.
That's right. We did not get any communication from AT&T yesterday.
May I ask what happens at the city, especially with police, and things emergency related to when there's an outage like this? Do you guys go down too?
Well, if it's like internet related, usually residents would just need to contact their service provider. I'm not, or does that answer your question, or what was your question?
What is the police band is on Verizon,
Your ability to
right?
operate.
Oh,
on a site.
we have Verizon.
Okay.
Sorry,
And it's cellular, and there's some other, there's some booster stuff. They're a little more robust.
That was my concern, is
That's
that
great.
you couldn't operate,
Yeah,
the city couldn't operate.
yeah.
I have a related question.
Go ahead.
Unless there's more discussion on that
Please.
line. So, at our last meeting in January, I had asked if we could address if there had been any discussions or any future learnings on, together with reaching out to, I believe it was Westlake they were going to, on addressing our cell phone reception issues. I notice it's not in the agenda. I would really formally like to put it on the agenda, or some other chairman, working group that you may, express. This incident this week had people scrambling that did not have adequate cell reception, and not just for, browsing the internet or doing their work, but literally for making calls. And there was a lot of chatter on all of the WhatsApp groups and whatnot saying, well, when are we gonna deal with our issues with cell phone reception? To which I thought, it would be nice if you had all filled out the survey. But nevertheless, an incident like this brings to the fore that it is a security concern for many, and it's not just an inconvenience. The night before the break with AT&T, there were 30 shots from an automatic weapon fired in the Zucker Park Clubhouse parking lot. If you don't have access to cell service and you don't have an internet and you can't set your alarm system because you don't have an internet, this is a problem. We need to at least have cell service. And for some reason, the cell service was exponentially worse the whole time this was down. And maybe that's because everybody was on their cell, and therefore the congestion. But it was not a good situation for many residents. So I would like to go back to
Appreciate-
addressing what we're
yep.
gonna do about our cell
Yeah.
service here.
So I guess the question would be, is there any technology improvements or changes that might, I mean, the one solution is to put a big tall tower in the middle of the park.
And try to convince AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile to put something on it.
Yeah,
Right.
But I think it's worth exploring. I know this goes.
We've been at it for
I know.
2.5 years. I mean, it's a private contract between you and your provider. I mean, that's not water and wastewater.
it's a utility.
It is a utility. I agree with you. I mean, nobody has landlines anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the challenges you're talking about, these like small pocket, I don't want to, I know the people that have poor coverage are sensitive to it, but we have these pockets without coverage, and they already have cell plans, and so the carriers feel like they're good,
Right.
they're getting the deal, and so how do you fill in these pockets?
We
Right.
also
Right,
have
the-
pockets that are right on Rollingwood Drive as you pass the baseball fields, and everybody drops all of their calls as they drive
Yeah.
by, as they drive past there.
Yeah, historically it was used
You
call
know.
by Wi-Fi. Well, obviously that doesn't work when the fiber's cut, right?
I also would mention that because this item is not posted for action or
There you
related
go.
to, no,
No, that's why I asked for it
Right, I
specifically
understand.
to please
Talk
be
about-
on the agenda.
just to.
Yeah.
Put it on the agenda.
Just
Yeah,
to
I'm happy
please
to
be
do
on
that.
the agenda,
I'm
because there were investigations that we could have done. We have not reached out to any of the carriers. I don't know if we contacted Westlake and what they're doing or any. We have not done the steps that would inform us of if there are any legitimate steps to do.
Well, we'll surely put that on the next, the April
Sure.
Utility Commission.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then just quickly, I don't know, Alan, I hadn't had a chance to meet you. I don't know if you wanted to say anything to the group here, but this is, I guess we could probably end the meeting and we'll talk on that offline.
Whatever you